Hello, I'm John. I do the smokeless powder guns on this channel, and my buddy Dimwit, the last mountain man, he does the antique black powder guns. And I got something special for you today. I'm sure a lot of you guys got guns that are extra special to you in some sort of way, and this is that kind of gun. This used to be my grandpa's gun. I'll let you have a closer look. It's a Star Model F Target 22 long rifle, and it's made in 1961, and I made this stand for it, and it's got some accessories. First gun I ever shot, actually. I'll tell you all about it now. Just let's shoot it first. Like that. So you can see it's been kind of rusty. So like I said, Grandpa's old gun, and it's the first gun I ever shot. And behind my grandparents' house there was a pasture with dairy cows, and it was kind of a downhill slope, and down there at the bottom there was a little river. So we sat there in the pasture, and I was sitting in between his knees, and he was holding his hands around me, and we shot down into the river. I couldn't have been more than maybe 7 years old, I think. And my grandpa was a taxi driver. He lived out in the country here in Norway, and sometimes, on Saturday nights and things like that, some of the customers could be drunk and ornery and stuff. And this one guy that was kind of after him, and so my grandpa tucked this inside his coat one late night, and went and picked him up, and he got in the back seat behind him, and they started driving, and then all of a sudden the guy says, "I'm going to kill you tonight." And my grandpa pulls out this pistol and says, "If you don't have a gun, you can borrow one of mine." Now, the guy never caused him any more problems after that. Always paid on time and everything. So, funny little story there. I already made a video with a pump action Winchester shotgun that's special to me, that I handed down to my son, and I'd like to hand this gun down to my oldest daughter. She's a pretty good shot. She always outshoot her older brother, and her and her to-be husband, they been doing some pistol shooting, and she outshoots him too. So but right now they're kind of busy with two little girls, but whenever she's ready for it, so it's gonna be hers. So yeah, there was a few things that I didn't like with this gun when I was a little boy, and tried to shoot it, and later on I got to see it a few more times, and so I did some changes to the gun. It had a thumb shelf here on the left side. It was sticking out quite a bit more than it is now. I sanded that down with finer and finer sandpaper. Ended up with 1200 paper and then a polishing wheel, and now it looks like it's been made that way. And that really helps. And my daughter, she's left-handed, so now it can be fired left-handed just the same as right-handed. So that helps. And another thing I didn't like was the front sight would entirely fill the rear sight. You couldn't see any light on each side of the front sight. It was very difficult to aim with it, and so I slimmed down the front sight a little bit on each side, so that helped. And if you've seen these pistols before, you may have noticed that it looks different here. Let's see, I added a piece of steel here, like a barrel weight, 57 grams of extra weight, and it looks a lot better because it looks the barrel looked so thin, and you had this strange flat surface underneath it, very close to the bore. It just didn't look right. So it looks a lot better now. And actually, it feels better to shoot too, because it was kind of unsteady. Helped with a little more weight here. Now, if you want to do something like this to your star pistol, you have to be a little careful, because you're still going to have to be able to take this apart and push this in, pull the slide back to a certain point and push this in and lift this up, and then it all goes forward, and you kind of have to sneak it down in between this new part here, and it works, but it's a tight fit. So yeah. And another thing I never liked with this gun, it does not have a slide stop, and which means, it doesn't stop at the rear after the last shot, and that's kind of a problem at a shooting range, because you're supposed to put your gun down and step away from it, and they'll inspect the guns before you go and check your targets. So I made this stand for it. It's not only for looks, it's kind of a practical thing too, because there's two ways I can use it. Okay, let's take the magazine out. You could just leave it on there for display, or you could pull the slide back and gun is ready for inspection. And I guess nowadays they also want you to have like a safety flag in there, so we'll put that in there. So should keep everybody happy. And I made room for a cartridge box here, and there's room for the magazine, and that's where the safety flag goes. And there's a little antique screwdriver that fits the sight adjustments, and also helpful to take the gun apart. I really need to help this spring in between here. It's a little bit of a, yeah. So there is Grandpa's old gun, 1961 Spanish Star Model F target. So whenever you're ready, Blondie, I guess it's yours now. So you'll take care. Even comes with a holster.